Hello YouTube, welcome along to part 11 of this Dark Souls guide and playthrough. Very first thing we're going to do today is go and pick up the sewer chamber key. Reason for doing that is to help new players who don't have the master key. If you don't have the master key, you're unable to open this bonfire, or door to get access to this bonfire, and you have to take a wee detour in the depths to get that key first of all, and then come down here. So that's where we'll head to first. I just want to make sure that I've got all my equipment ready. I could change my rings, but I want my rusted iron ring on because we're going to be running through this wee bit here. And you want to stay to the left hand side to avoid the slimes falling in your head. When you come up here, run past the doorway. The reason for that is because there's a hollow in there. You want to kind of draw him out. Try not to let him tag you like he just hit me there. But yeah, run past the doorway and he'll be drawn towards you. So we're just basically going back in the same direction that we came in the first place when we came into the depths. You'll recognise this area. This is where I fought the second butcher. Laurentius of the Great Swamp was in the other room. We freed him from his fate as supper for these female butchers. The butcher obviously doesn't respawn. The dogs over here and the torch hollows above. I don't know why the second dog doesn't respawn, but these dogs, when they jump backwards or sideways, oh. Anyway, remember to pick up the large ember if you haven't done that. What you want to do is you want to come behind the butcher's desk where he was cutting up humans or whatever it was. I believe they're cannibalistic, so he was cutting up whatever species he is, or she is. I keep saying he, they're so masculine that you think they're men. Anyway, you come down here, keep to the edges. The reason I stop here is because I can hear footsteps and I think it's maybe one of the torch hollows about to follow me down, although I've never seen that before. Anyway, so you want to come along here. You can see that there's a huge rat down here. Don't engage with him yet. Come down here, and I advise all players to pick that item up. If you're not the bandit class, you won't have the spider shield, and the spider shield is essential for Blighttown. So we can get the plunging attack off on this guy. Kill him in one go. No point. Do you know what? I've just noticed that's the first time I've noticed that guy's got an axe in his eye. So somebody else has been down here, had a fight with him and died. There's a few items to pick up in here, soul items, and you'll find the sewer chamber key on this guy. And yeah, like I said before, this is a key that allows you to open the door, assuming you don't have the master key, to the bonfire. The part about bad apples and greed, insatiable greed, is interesting, especially given a particular enemy around here. You can actually slide down that wee ramp and it will take you to a specific area of the game that's not far from the bonfire, but don't do that. Come here to the other end, and there's a reason you want to come this way first, because how to explain it? I'm not sure, but anyway, I'll explain it later. First of all, equip your spider shield. There's a lot of rats around here, and you'll remember the spider shield blocks poison and toxic. So it's a good shield to use when you're in a place infested with rats. Now you're going to see that the rats are going to get buffed. Now you go, you can see the aura, the white aura. And you remember what the last time, you can hear actually the soul arrow, or soul spear. It's a channeler. There's a channeler in the depths. And he's buffed these giant rats. So you've got to be very careful. I wouldn't advise piling into that room, because you're likely to get surrounded by rats. At the very least get poisoned, and probably get killed. So use your bow to draw these guys towards you, and kill them in here. I think there's about 4 or 5 rats in there, maybe more. And yeah, the part I was stuttering at a second ago, something I do often in these commentaries. It's important to come down this way, that's what I was trying to get at, because if you don't, when you come to the boss fight and you don't take out this channeler, you're going to it's going to make the fight significantly more difficult. I like how ornate the channeler's armour is. Strange beings, I believe that they're another result of an experiment by Seif the Scaleless. What they're doing here, I'm not sure. I intentionally allowed them to ambush me, and I intentionally allowed them to poison me. I want to show you the purpose of using the purple clumps, the purple moss clumps. So you can see that with each second that goes by while I'm poisoned, my health is going down. There we go, consume the purple moss clump and it totally gets rid of your poison status. Another upgrade item which is excellent. That area down there looks like an arena of sorts, and like I said, I'm sure you can guess that that's where the boss fight takes place. So if you didn't take care of the channeler, he can actually buff the area boss, and I believe he can actually shoot down soul arrow towards you while you're fighting the boss. Come down here through the fog gate. What we're going to do now is go back to the bonfire. There's another couple of things to take care of before we take the boss on in here in the depths. Strange how some of the rats are very docile and want to avoid fights. Not sure what that's all about. That's one of the best things about the halberd is that sweeping attack. You can take out multiple enemies at once. So you might recognise this wee part here. In the last video, in the last video you'll remember that the ambush with that rat. So you know that we're not far from the bonfire here. Come down to the opposite side of this corridor. There's a good weapon down here, especially if you're a strength build. Let's see if I can get all these rats. Nope, missed two of them. And I'm kind of causing myself a problem here. The wall, I was trying to back away, but I was rolling backwards into the wall instead of rolling out of the way of the rats. Doesn't matter though, plenty of Estus and plenty of clumps. So this is a Greataxe, strength weapon. I think it requires something crazy like 32 strength or 26 strength to wield in one hand. Just check. .32 one-handed. Give it a shot with both hands, still not strong enough. Anyway, not sure why that was there, why two-handed didn't work. Anyway, fast forward here. And we want to reverse our hollow and you want to become human here. There's a reason for that, I won't give it away at this point. But if you're following this guide, do what I've just done. You can also, I would advise every player who's not the bandit class and who doesn't have the master key to do what I did there a second ago, which was to go to the undead giant rat to pick up either the spider shield for Blighttown or the sewer chamber key to get access to the bonfire if you need it. So most players, you will be reversing your hollowing here to become human, and yeah, it's an interesting wee detour before the boss fight coming up. So you want to kind of go back in the direction that you came from, take out all these rats along the way. Yeah, sorry, come down to the right, fall down here, Now, I'd maybe suggest getting your Estus up because you're going to encounter not a new enemy, an annoying enemy. You can see that I've got that skull and the bars filling up. That is one of the most dreaded curses of all of Dark Souls. It's indeed called Curse, and Curse is something that you don't want to happen to you. Let me try and explain Curse to you. Well, I'm taking out these rats. Basically, if you get cursed, you're going to die, and once you respawn, you're going to notice that half your health is gone. You might think, oh, I'll die and everything will be reset. Nope. If you're cursed, okay, I'll come back to that. You can see that we've been invaded. It's not by a human. It's not by another person. It's by an NPC. This is Nightcurk, who's on a mission to find humanity for the Fair Lady. The Fair Lady is one of the daughters of the Witch of Izalith. We'll encounter her later in the game, but he's here to get humanity. You can see he's not particularly difficult. If he rolls into you, he's spiked armour. You can see he does a fat roll as well. I mean, he's slow, his moves are telegraphed. I actually wanted to get my change from my spider shield to my grass crest shield, but you can see I chose the night shield, which is the wrong one. For that, for killing Kirk, we get 6,000 souls almost, and we actually get a drop here. We get the spike shield, which is a rare drop. Not useful, not for me anyway. You can put on his armour at some point in the game, and if you're into PvP, you can actually use it to roll into people and cause them bleed damage. Yeah, I was talking about curses earlier on, and yeah, as I said, killing yourself or dying doesn't reset the curse effect or status. See this ramp? This is the ramp that you're brought down to if you slide down there from the room where the giant rat was in. So those enemies, those frog-like enemies that blow out some kind of smoke or whatever, they're called basilisks. And they're weak to fire, so pyromancy is good if you're a pyromancer.
Aye, sure, I'm good to you. I'm Donald of Xena. I'm just a peddler of sort. I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them.
So this is Domino of Xena, like he says. I would advise buying all his pine resins. You can only buy 3. I would advise doing so because it's so useful later on in the game. Buy a bottomless box if you haven't already. We will. Crystal weapons, stronger than their normal counterparts, but very low durability, and once they break you can't repair them, and once they break that's them done.
Well, I'm certain we will make a good trade of it, so I'm willing to share some tips. If you succeed in the catacombs, use divine weapons. That will repair the reassembling skeleton.
That's actually a fantastic piece of information.
I'm afraid I don't see anything here.
So yeah, like he says, if you go to the catacombs,
Thank you. That was a fine trade.
yeah, you want to be using divine weapons. That's something we'll come to later. A lot of people contend that Domino is maybe a spy, or at the very least an impartial observer. Sent from Xena. I think Xena is associated with intelligence, and yeah, if you want to know more about Domino, Xena, go and read up in the wiki about him. Anyway, we're going to come back to the bonfire. We've achieved what we wanted to achieve while we were human. Don't forget to kill yourself. That's what I've done. I've fast forwarded a wee bit. Use the souls that you got from killing Kirk to maybe upgrade your stats. Remember to concentrate on vitality, endurance, strength and agility if you're following this guide. But yeah, talking about curses for a second, there's a couple of items you can actually use. Oh wait, actually, but let me tell you about the total effect of the curse. Instant death, health points halved, believe you can't pop a humanity while you're cursed, and dying doesn't clear it. You need to get an item called a purging stone, or speak to an NPC called Ingward, but he's you don't encounter him until later on in the game. Yeah, purging stones, you can buy them from the undead female merchant, but I think they're like a massive amount of souls, and it's really not worth it. I mean, you shouldn't be getting cursed. Something has gone badly wrong if you're getting cursed. Anyway, we're actually going to go to an area where we'll encounter more of those basilisk enemies. Remember how to get there. You go down that wee corridor, turn to the right, first right, and you'll fall down a kind of gap in the floor where there should be a drain cover. Here's the health and safety in the depths. So to the right here, and down the wee hole. Good idea to use your Estus flask here. So you want to keep away from their smoke, or whatever it is. I believe there's certain armours that can improve your curse resistance. Popping humanity. The more humanity you have, the greater the resistance, up to a certain level. I think maybe 9 or 10. So yeah, you want to have maybe 9 or 10 humanity at this point. Come through this way. This is where the area I want you to come to. They're very easy to take out, these guys. And if you've got pyromancies, especially the one where you blow the fire from your glove, they're a cakewalk. You can see that there's like a gap in the floor, a hole in the floor. You want to come down here and do a plunging attack. Try and get as many of them as possible. I only get one. They're not quite as bad at jumping and evading attack as the dogs, but they're still quite annoying. You can see the kind of spiky human figures. That's actually real human players who have been cursed by these frogs. So yeah, it's interesting that you get to see that. Nice addition by FromSoft. So if you're a new player and you do get cursed down here, don't worry. All you have to do is leave the depths and go back up to the Ring of the Evil Eye. Believe that with every successful kill you drain a wee bit of, you absorb health. Health is absorbed from fallen enemies. It's such an insignificant amount that the ring is not worth it. I wouldn't recommend wearing it whatsoever. Yeah, but as I was saying, if you do get cursed, don't fret. Don't think, oh, that's my game finished now. Come up here, there's a humanity up here. You have to jump over this tank. Yeah, all you have to do is temporarily leave the depths, and go to the undead female merchant, and she'll sell you some for like a ridiculous amount of souls. So make sure you've got souls in hand. I think it might be about 8,000, something like that. I think you can buy them from Oswald of Cream as well. I'm not 100% sure about that. There's definitely another NPC that you can buy them from in the game. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back. Are we going to go back? Yeah, I think we'll go back to Bonfire. And then we will get ourselves ready for... No, we won't go back to the Bonfire. Anyway, let's just keep going forward and let's see where we go. Yeah, the halberd's a great weapon in the depths. Yeah, you want to come back up to this area. This is the area with Dominol of Xena, the area that connects you to the boss room and the bonfire. So you've got the wee kind of shortcut that takes you to the bonfire, and then you've got where that rat just ran up. That's where you want to go if you're ready to fight the boss. We're not going to go back to the bonfire, we're just going to take the boss on. I am actually going to this boss fight totally unprepared. At this point I should be changing shields, because having the spider shield offers no advantages in the fight. I want the grass crest shield on because it's going to increase my offensive and defensive capabilities because of the stamina regen. come down the stairs, there's nothing along there. Come along here though, because there is an item here, don't go downstairs yet. It's the one of the crossbows, if that's your thing. Heavy crossbow. But yeah, I should be setting up my bar here as well. I should be setting up the gold pine resin, because Gaping Dragon is weak to lightning damage. If you're in human form, and it's perfectly valid for you to do that, you can summon Solaire and Lautrec just at the wee entrance to the stairs above there. I don't think it's necessary. This boss isn't particularly difficult. He looks crocodilian. I thought I was fighting a crocodile, and I thought that was the extent of him, just the wee head at the top, and then you see this big gaping mouth vagina creature. I believe he looks the way he does because he's descended first of all from the everlasting dragons that are discussed at the beginning of the game, and I believe that mouth, the massive mouth, is as a result of his greed. Apparently he was a greedy creature. Anyway, let me talk about the strategy for him. The strategy is what I just did there. You want to run away from him for the majority of the fight. So you're going to be basically wanting a fast roll speed here, a fast movement speed. So use Havel's Ring if you've got it, or if you don't, and you're mid-rolling or you're moving at mid-speed, you want to take pieces of armour off to get fast. And what you want to do is, you want to coax him into doing that, basically that manoeuvre he just did a second ago, but he raises up in his back legs and flops down in front of you, and you just want to keep encouraging him to do that move. And then you run in, don't lock on, just run in, be two-handed, two-hand your weapon, and get a running attack in on him. He has a fair amount of health. If you're too close to him as well, his feet cause it's like a rumbling attack, and it can take some of your health off as well. And because you're not really going to be that massively high level at this point, that can actually kill you. I've seen that's killed me once before, so just be careful with that. I'm starting to realise I've not prepared well for this fight. I want, like I say, my Grass Crest Shield to get my stamina regen. Green Blossoms even as well would help. And my plan was anyway always to use the Gold Pine Resin towards the end of the fight. I just prefer to do it that way, but you know, if you prefer to use it at the beginning of the fight and to get as much health off them in quick manner, do that. You're going to have opportunity, even if you haven't prepared well, you're going to have the opportunity to set your bar up, because you know, you can go for like, you know, seconds without him attacking you or coming after you. So you're just wanting to basically kite him around the room, pull him around the room, keep running, don't lock on to him, be at a fast running speed, and get him to do that move. That was a wasted opportunity there. That's one of the problems with not locking on, is that you always run the risk of missing, because it's manual aiming. If you're feeling particularly confident, you can go for his tail. He drops a tail weapon if you manage to cut his tail. It's I can't remember the name of it. It's not a particularly great weapon, although I think it does increase your magic and fire defences if you're wielding it. It's some kind of Greataxe, I think. Dragon Greataxe maybe, I'm not sure. Another thing you can do if you're confident is to kind of speed him in the side if you're using something like a halberd or a spear class weapon, or just even go up to him and slash into his side while he's not chasing after you. But I prefer just to take my time about it. There's no hurry, no race here. I don't think he's as hard as the gargoyles. I think the gargoyles pose more of a challenge to new players, but I think this guy can be more intimidating. It's like a psychological thing, you know, you're in this massive arena and he's much bigger obviously than the gargoyles. And he is quite frightening looking, I suppose. And I think the first time I ever fought him I died. I think I've died to him twice actually the first time I fought him. First and second time, obviously. So I think in when you read the description for the sewer chamber key, is it describing the gaping dragon? There you go, there's me quoting the weapon of the pine resin. I didn't expect him to do this attack, and I actually thought I'd wasted my pine resin because he's about to do his other strange attack, which is the spew attack, where he spews this stomach contents onto the ground, and I'm not sure if it does weapon durability damage, but it definitely does damage to you, so you want to run away from it and avoid it. You can see that the pine resin did a lot more damage, the weapon did a lot more damage to him with the pine resin on it. So now I just decide, well, he's so low at health, I'll probably be able to take him out. And there we go, that's the gaping dragon down, and we get the key for Blighttown. Twin humanities and a homeward bone, so not bad loot. So what to do now is just go back to the bonfire. I'll see you there. So come back to the bonfire, and what to do is we got about a good 25,000 souls I think there. So what you want to do is upgrade your stats. Again, focusing on repair your weapons, repair all your stuff. Upgrade vitality, endurance, strength or dexterity. I'd recommend endurance and vitality for going into Blighttown.